They never told you that your greatest struggle wouldn't come from the outside. It wouldn't be the world, or the people who hurt you, or even the circumstances you couldn't control. It would come from inside you, because deep within, there are four forces, four voices, pulling you in different directions. Your body, your ego, your spirit, your soul. Each of them wants something. Each of them speaks its own language. The body craves comfort. It craves touch, warmth, pleasure, food, sleep. It wants you to feel good right now, but it fears pain. It fears loss. It fears anything that threatens its survival. So it clings to safety, to habits, to what feels familiar, even if it keeps you small. Then there's the ego. It whispers louder. It shapes your identity and protects it at all costs. It tells you, this is who you are. This is what you deserve. It builds walls, masks, defenses to keep others from seeing the real you. But those same walls keep you trapped, lonely, afraid to grow. And yet, the ego believes it's saving you because it's terrified of being hurt, of being seen, of being rejected. Then, there's the spirit. The spirit is different. It burns. It reaches. It wants more. It's the fire inside you that says, you are not just this. You are more. You can be more. It pushes you to evolve, to dream, to create, to rise above what you thought you were. But the spirit can also feel impatient, reckless. It wants to leap before you're ready. And then, beneath them all, is the soul. The soul doesn't shout. It doesn't push. It doesn't fear. It just watches, quiet, eternal, waiting for you to remember. Because the soul already knows who you are. It already sees where you're going. It carries the map, even when you feel lost. But here's the truth. These four are not enemies. They are pieces of the same whole, you, but without harmony. They fight. They pull you apart. They drain you. And you feel torn, tired, at war with yourself. But you don't have to stay at war, because the first step to peace is to see the battle clearly, to recognize each voice, to honor each need, and to remember that you are not just one of them. You are the one who holds them all, and that changes everything. You've been told that the ego is bad, something dark, something you need to destroy. But that isn't true. The ego was born to protect you. It learned how to keep you safe, long before you even knew what safety meant. When you were small, when the world felt too big, too sharp, the ego stepped in. It said, I'll keep you safe. I'll make sure you never feel this pain again. And so, it built walls. It stitched together masks. It created a story about who you are and who you can never be. At first, it worked. It kept you from falling apart. It gave you something solid to cling to. But over time, the ego forgot. It forgot the difference between keeping you safe and keeping you small. Now, it tells you stories that keep you trapped. You can't show them who you are. You don't deserve more. You're not ready. You're not enough. And you believe it, because the ego's voice sounds so familiar. It sounds like your own. But the truth is, the ego is afraid of change, afraid of failure, afraid of being seen for what you really are. So it distracts you. It keeps you busy. chasing things that don't matter. It tells you, if you just achieve this, you'll be safe. If you just fix that, you'll be loved. But no matter what you chase, it never feels like enough. Because the ego's game has no finish line. And when the spirit rises, when the soul whispers, the ego panics. It speaks louder. It tells you to stop. It fills your mind with doubt, with fear, with noise. But here's the thing. You don't have to kill the ego. You don't have to silence it. You don't have to fight it. You just have to see it. To notice the game it's playing. To tell it, softly, "Thank you, but you don't have to protect me anymore." And something in the ego softens. It realizes you are no longer that scared child. You are stronger now. You are awake. And as the ego steps back, the noise fades. The walls begin to fall. The masks begin to crack. And for the first time, you can hear the other voices, the spirit's fire, the soul's quiet wisdom. And in that moment, you begin to understand that you are not your ego. You never were. You are the one watching it all, the one who can choose. And that is where the real work begins. When the ego quiets, when the noise begins to fade, you hear something else, something you've always felt but never trusted. The spirit. The spirit doesn't speak like the ego. It doesn't whisper fear. It doesn't build walls. It burns. You feel it as restlessness, as longing, as the quiet ache in your chest that says, there's more. More than this job, more than this routine, more than this version of you that you've settled for. The spirit is fire. It doesn't want comfort. It wants freedom. It wants growth. It wants to see what you're capable of. That's why it scares you, because the spirit will push you. It will tear down everything that keeps you small. It doesn't care about the stories the ego wrote. It doesn't care about the excuses. It only cares about becoming. And maybe you felt it before. That moment you stood at the edge of a choice, and something inside said, jump. Even though you didn't know where you'd land, that was the spirit. It shows up when you're quiet enough to feel it, when the body is still, when the ego steps aside, and when you hear it, you feel alive, terrified, but alive. Because the spirit reminds you, you are not meant to stay the same. You are not meant to shrink into the shape others gave you. You are meant to rise, to expand, to burn brighter. But here's what the ego won't tell you, and what even the body sometimes forgets. The spirit isn't reckless. It's not chaos. It's truth. It doesn't lead you into fire to destroy you. It leads you through it to become who you already are. And the more you listen, the louder it gets. The more you trust, the more it shows you. It gives you glimpses of what's possible. It hands you the matches and waits for you to strike, because the spirit cannot force you. It can only call you and wait. So now, if you feel it, if you hear it, if your chest is burning just a little brighter right now, don't ignore it. Don't push it away. Don't tell yourself, not yet. This is your spirit speaking, and it's asking you, how much longer will you keep pretending you can't hear me? There is a point when even the spirit's fire feels loud, when even the push to grow begins to tire you, when you've burned and risen and reached for more. And still, something feels missing. That's when you begin to notice a quieter voice. The soul. The soul doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It doesn't ache like the body. It doesn't fear like the ego. It doesn't burn like the spirit. It just watches, patient, still, always waiting for you to finally be quiet enough to hear it. You see, the soul isn't interested in what you want, or what you fear, or what you dream. Because the soul already knows. It remembers the vows you made before you were born, the lessons you agreed to learn, the pain you agreed to feel, the love you agreed to give, and the things you agreed to let go. It knows why you're here, even when you've forgotten. And the soul doesn't push. It doesn't chase. It simply waits for you to return. Sometimes you catch glimpses of it in moments of deep stillness, in the quiet after the tears, in the spaces between thoughts. You feel it as a knowing, a memory you can't quite name, a peace that makes no sense. Because the soul doesn't speak in words, it speaks in silence, in presence, in what you feel when you finally stop running and sit. And in that silence, you begin to understand. You are not here to become someone. You are here to remember who you already are, that you are not broken, that you are not behind, that nothing is missing. The body may ache, the ego may scream, the spirit may burn, but the soul simply is, complete, whole, unchanging, and maybe that's what you've been looking for all along. Not something to fix, not something to chase, but something to come home to. So now, sit, breathe, listen, because your soul is still here, waiting for you to remember that you've always been home. You've met them now, one by one, the body, the ego, the spirit, the soul, each of them calling you in their own way, pulling you in different directions. And for most of your life, you thought you had to choose. You thought you had to silence the body to feed the spirit. You thought you had to kill the ego to hear the soul. You thought you had to burn everything down just to feel alive again. But the truth is, you don't have to choose. You never did, because you are not any one of them. You are the space that holds them all. The body is your vessel. It lets you feel this life. It lets you taste, touch, love. It anchors you here, and it deserves care, not punishment. The ego is your armor. It keeps you standing. When the world feels too heavy, it deserves compassion, not hate. The spirit is your fire. It lights the path forward. It keeps you moving. When you're tempted to stop, it deserves trust, not fear. And the soul is your truth, your home, the part of you that cannot be broken. It deserves your silence, your listening, your surrender. When you stop fighting them, something changes. You start to see. They were never enemies. They were never here to tear you apart. They've always been parts of the same whole, parts of you. And when you let them work together, you find peace. Not because the voices stop, but because they start to sing instead of scream. The body grounds you. The ego protects you, the spirit pushes you, the soul guides you, and you finally remember, you are not the battle, you are the field where the battle ends. So breathe, feel your body here, thank your ego for carrying you this far, let your spirit burn, and let your soul hold it all, because you don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to fix what was never broken, you just have to allow, and in that allowing, you become whole. You've seen it now, the truth, that your body, your ego, your spirit, your soul were never at war with each other. They were only waiting for you to see them, to listen, to bring them home, because peace was never out there. It was always here, waiting inside you, beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the fire. Peace is not silence, it's harmony. It's all the parts of you finally moving as one. The body breathes, the ego softens, the spirit burns steady, the soul watches and smiles. And you begin to walk differently. You speak with more care. You look at the world and see it through new eyes, not as something to conquer, but as something to feel, to honor, to love. Because when you find peace inside, you begin to create it outside, in every word, every step, every breath. And maybe that's why you're here now, why you stayed through every word, why you listened, because some part of you already knew that this was the moment to stop running, the moment to stop fighting, the moment to come home. So now, sit with yourself, feel your body, hear your ego, honor your spirit, listen to your soul, and remember, you are not just one of them. You are the one who holds them all, and that changes everything. If this spoke to something inside you, if you felt even for a moment that quiet peace rising, share it. Write it below. Tell someone what you heard here tonight, because your words might be the reminder someone else is waiting for. And if this space felt like home, if you're ready to keep walking this path, subscribe, not just for more videos, but to keep remembering that we're all finding our way together.